The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council fell silent as Ambassador James Miller walked to the podium. The massive dome-shaped room, filled with delegates from 200 different species, watched the human with a mixture of curiosity and concern. Miller's plain black suit stood in stark contrast to the elaborate robes and bioluminescent attire of the other representatives. Ambassador Thomas Thompson, the blue-skinned delegate from the Stellar Republic, leaned forward in his seat. Something felt wrong. The human's face showed no signs of stress or worry, unusual for someone representing a relatively young spacefaring civilization. Earth formally announces its intention to declare war on the Dominion Empire, Miller stated, his voice calm and steady. The chamber erupted in chaos. Delegates jumped from their seats, their universal translators struggling to keep up with the flood of shocked exclamations in dozens of languages. Thompson's inner eyelids fluttered rapidly, his species equivalent of a stunned blink. The council leader, a tall, crystalline being, raised all four arms for silence. Ambassador Miller, surely this is a mistake. The Dominion Empire's technology is at least 5 centuries ahead of Earth's current capabilities. Miller smiled. Not a nervous smile, Thompson noted, but one of absolute confidence. We are aware of the technological gap, Council Leader. Our decision stands. Thompson couldn't stay quiet any longer. He stood up, his blue skin pulsing with concerned patterns. Ambassador Miller, request permission to speak freely. The Council Leader nodded, probably relieved that someone was trying to talk sense into the human. The Dominion Empire has ships that can destroy planets. Their energy shields can withstand the force of a supernova. Their smallest scout vessels could outgun Earth's entire space fleet. Are you out of your mind? Miller turned to face Thompson, that unnerving smile still on his face. Ambassador Thompson, we appreciate your concern, but Earth has considered all these factors. Have you? Thompson moved closer to the podium. The Dominion's basic foot soldiers wear armor that your most advanced weapons can't scratch. Their war machines can think faster than your best computers. Even their civilian technology surpasses your military capabilities. The chamber murmured in agreement. Several delegates nodded, their various appendages and sensory organs focused intently on Miller. Tell me, Ambassador Thompson, Miller said, pulling out a small metal object from his pocket. Do you know what this is? Thompson studied the object. It appears to be a mechanical timepiece. Rather primitive technology. Correct. We call it a pocket watch. Would you say the Dominion has far superior ways of keeping time? Of course. Their quantum chronometers are accurate to the smallest possible unit of time. Miller opened the watch, showing its simple gears and springs. Yet here we are, still making these. Interesting, isn't it? That a species would hold on to outdated technology, even when they have access to better options. Something about Miller's tone made Thompson's skin ripple with unease. The human was trying to tell him something, but what? The Council has records of your species' history, Thompson said. You fight wars differently than any other known civilization. You're adaptable, unpredictable, but that won't be enough against the Dominion's technological superiority. Miller closed the watch with a soft click. Perhaps there's a reason we maintain certain traditions and technologies that others consider obsolete. The Council Leader interrupted. Ambassador Miller, this is madness. The Dominion will obliterate Earth's forces in their first strike. With all due respect, Miller replied, tucking the watch away, I suggest everyone here pay very close attention to what happens next. Earth's first military action against the Dominion will begin in exactly 72 hours. I believe it will be educational. As Miller walked out of the chamber, Thompson felt a chill run through his body. The human's words echoed in his mind. He looked around at the other delegates, all discussing Earth's apparent suicide mission. But Thompson couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something important. The pocket watch, the confidence, the careful choice of words. What was Earth planning? And why did he have the unsettling feeling that the humans knew exactly what they were doing? Looking at his quantum display, Thompson started a countdown. 71 hours, 59 minutes until they found out. Ambassador Thompson couldn't sleep. After 48 hours of reviewing Earth's military data, his office looked like a disaster zone. Holographic displays floated everywhere, showing Earth's weapons, ships, and battle tactics. None of it made sense. "Computer, show me Earth's most advanced warship again," he said, rubbing his tired eyes. The image appeared, a bulky vessel with visible metal plating, actual windows, and what appeared to be primitive chemical rockets. Thompson shook his head in disbelief. The ship looked like it belonged in a museum, not a modern space fleet. His door chimed. "Enter," he called out. Dr. Reed walked in, her crystalline form catching the light from the displays. As the Council's chief military advisor, she had been studying Earth's capabilities for years. "Still trying to solve the human puzzle?" she asked, her crystal fragments rearranging to form a smile. "Look at this," Thompson pointed to the warship display. "Their ships still use metal armor. Metal. Not energy shields, not quantum barriers, just plates of processed ore. How do they expect to fight the Dominion with this?" Reed moved closer to examine the display. "Perhaps they're hiding their true capabilities." "That's what I thought at first." Thompson brought up another image. "But look at their orbital defense systems. Basic missile platforms, primitive radar arrays, and ground-based laser cannons that wouldn't even scratch a Dominion scout ship's paint. Their technology is consistent with their development level," Reed noted. "Nothing unusual." Thompson stood up and paced the room. "That's what bothers me. Humans aren't stupid. Their Ambassador Miller, there was something about his confidence. Computer, show Earth's major conflicts in the last 200 years. The air filled with images of human warfare. Thompson walked through them, studying each one carefully. "Notice anything strange?" he asked Reed. She analyzed the battles. They often won against superior forces. And their tactics, they're unusually adaptable. "Exactly." Thompson pointed to various images. "In every major conflict, humans found ways to defeat technically superior enemies. They turn weaknesses into strengths. They use outdated technology in unexpected ways. And look at this." He pulled up data from Earth's recent military exercises. Their response times to new threats are impossibly fast. "It's like they're..." "Like they're what?" Reed asked. "Like they're playing chess while everyone else is playing a different game entirely." Thompson brought up an image of the pocket watch Miller had shown him. "They keep old technology around not because they're primitive, but because..." Suddenly, all the displays in the room flickered. A message appeared. "Warning. QUANTUUM in ETORK interference. DETCTED." Reed's crystalline form vibrated in alarm. "That's impossible. Our quantum networks are unhackable. The encryption is based on the fundamental laws of physics." Thompson rushed to his console. "Computer, source of interference. Unknown. Signal pattern matches no known technology." More warnings flashed across the screens. Throughout the Galactic Council building, quantum systems began experiencing random glitches. Messages appeared and disappeared. Data streams became corrupted. "No," Thompson whispered. "They wouldn't. They couldn't." "What is it?" Reed asked, her form shifting nervously. "Computer, show me all reports of quantum network disturbances in the past year. Compare them with Earth's known positions." The data appeared, showing a clear pattern. Small, seemingly random quantum network glitches have been occurring wherever Earth ships traveled. They've been testing their capabilities, Thompson realized. Right in front of us. We thought their ships were primitive because we were looking at the metal and the rockets. We never thought to look at. Another alert sounded. A message from Earth's Ambassador Miller appeared on all screens. 24 hours until first contact with Dominion forces. Recommend all civilian quantum networks be shut down for safety purposes. Reed's crystalline form paled. "You don't think..." "They found a way," Thompson said quietly. While everyone was focused on energy shields and plasma weapons, humans found a way to disrupt quantum systems themselves. Their primitive ships aren't primitive at all. They're designed to hide their true purpose. He looked at the countdown timer. 23 hours and 59 minutes remained. Dr. Reed, Thompson said, his skin turning a pale blue with worry. I believe we're about to witness something unprecedented. The question isn't whether humans are capable of fighting the Dominion. The question is, what else have they been hiding? The quantum networks continued to glitch, like ripples spreading across a pond, warning of something much bigger approaching. The Galactic Council's emergency observation chamber was packed with delegates. All eyes were fixed on the massive holographic display showing the Dominion's border outpost, a massive space station that served as their first line of defense. Around it, 40 Dominion warships patrolled, their silver hulls gleaming with energy shields. Thompson stood at the front, his blue skin almost white with tension. The countdown on his display showed 5 minutes remaining. This is madness, a delegate whispered. Earth only sent 3 ships. 3. Thompson watched as Earth's vessels appeared on the display. They looked exactly like the outdated designs he'd studied. Bulky, metal-plated, with visible thrusters. Each ship was barely a quarter the size of a single Dominion vessel. Dominion fleet is responding, the tactical officer announced. They're hailing the Earth vessels. The transmission played through the chamber. Earth vessels, you have entered restricted space. Your primitive ships are no match for our superior technology. Retreat now or be destroyed. Ambassador Miller's voice replied, calm as ever. Noted, proceeding with planned operation. The Dominion ships moved into attack formation, their weapons charging. Bright purple energy gathered at their gun ports, enough firepower to vaporize a small moon. 10 seconds, Thompson whispered. Then everything changed. The quantum display showing the battle flickered and died. Every electronic system in the chamber went dark. When they came back online 3 seconds later, the scene had transformed. 2 Dominion ships were already destroyed, split cleanly in half. The others were firing wildly, but their energy shields, the pride of Dominion technology, weren't working. The Earth ships moved with impossible speed, their primitive metal hulls absorbing direct hits without a scratch. What are we seeing? Someone gasped. Thompson understood now. The metal plating. It's not armor, it's camouflage. Look. Sections of the Earth ship's hull were changing, revealing patches that seemed to swallow light itself. Every time a Dominion weapon hit these patches, the energy simply disappeared. Their quantum networks are completely disrupted, the tactical officer reported, voice shaking. The Dominion ships can't coordinate their attacks. The Earth vessels moved in perfect formation, executing maneuvers that should have been impossible for their size. Each time they passed near a Dominion ship, more systems failed. Weapons went dead. Engines shut down. They're not just disrupting the quantum networks, Thompson realized. They're harvesting the energy. Every shot the Dominion fires makes Earth's ships stronger. The battle, if it could even be called that, lasted less than 10 minutes. When it was over, 38 Dominion ships floated powerless in space. The other 2 had been destroyed in the opening seconds, probably as a demonstration. The space station, proud symbol of Dominion power, hung dark and silent. Ambassador Miller's voice came through clearly. Phase 1 complete. To the Dominion Empire, your ship's life support systems will reactivate in 30 minutes. Your crews will survive. Consider this a demonstration. The chamber erupted in chaos. Delegates were shouting, arguing, some simply staring in shock at the display. Thompson felt a presence beside him. Miller had entered the chamber quietly during the battle. How? Thompson asked. Those quantum disruptions. You'd need computing power beyond anything. Miller smiled. Did you know that human brains are actually quantum computers? Not very efficient ones, but we've had millions of years to evolve them. While everyone else was building better machines, We learned to merge biological and mechanical quantum systems. Those ships aren't controlled by computers. They're controlled by human minds, enhanced and networked together. The metal hulls hide the biological components. Much easier to dismiss us as primitive when all you see is metal and rockets. Thompson's skin rippled with understanding. You wanted everyone to underestimate you. The pocket watch, the old technology. Sometimes the best place to hide advanced technology is behind outdated technology. Miller turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Ambassador Thompson. That was just one of our older defense systems. We've had 50 years to prepare for this war. As Miller walked away, Thompson looked back at the display, where 3 primitive Earth ships had just defeated the pride of the Dominion fleet. He had a feeling they were just getting started. Thompson stood before the Galactic Council's Science Division, his skin flickering between shades of blue as he processed the data on his screen. The room was filled with the brightest minds from 100 species, all trying to understand what they had witnessed. Play the battle footage again, he requested. Slow speed, focus on Earthship 1. The hologram showed the battle in precise detail. This time, Thompson noticed something new. Each time the ship absorbed a Dominion energy blast, faint patterns rippled across its hull, patterns that looked remarkably like human brainwaves. Dr. Reed's crystalline form sparkled with excitement. The biological quantum interface. It's beautiful in its simplicity. Look here, she pointed to a detailed scan. What we thought was primitive metal plating is actually millions of microscopic chambers, each containing neural tissue. Living technology, another scientist whispered. While we built better machines, they found a way to enhance their own biology. Thompson brought up the historical data. It was there all along. Earth's outdated technology was a carefully crafted deception. Their space program, their satellites, even their power plants, all designed to look primitive while hiding their true capabilities. He displayed images of Earth's public technology next to what they now knew was hidden beneath. The differences were stunning. But how did they manage to keep this secret? A delegate asked. Our sensors. We're looking for machine-based quantum systems, Thompson interrupted. Not biological ones. It's like trying to find a computer by looking for electricity while ignoring the human brain in front of you. The main screen displayed new data from the battle analysis. The Dominion ship's energy weapons had fired at full power, yet the Earth vessels had absorbed every shot. More than absorbed, they had grown stronger. Each Earth ship isn't just a vessel, Dr. Reed explained, her crystal structure forming complex patterns of excitement. It's a network of enhanced human minds working in perfect synchronization. The metal hull isn't armor. It's an antenna, capturing and channeling energy through biological quantum pathways. Thompson clicked through more images. Their entire technological development was a masquerade. These scans show quantum biological interfaces in everything from their handheld devices to their children's toys. They'd been preparing their entire population for this kind of warfare since before they reached space. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. But why? Someone finally asked. Why hide their true capabilities? Why let everyone think they were primitive? Thompson played Miller's pocket watch speech again. The answer had been there from the start. Because, he said slowly, in every conflict humans have ever fought, being underestimated was their greatest advantage. They didn't just develop this technology. They developed it in secret, tested it in plain sight, and waited until the perfect moment to reveal it. Dr. Reed added, the Dominion's greatest weakness was their absolute faith in their technological superiority. They built stronger shields, more powerful weapons, but humans found a way to turn that strength against them. New alerts flashed across the screens. More Dominion outposts were going dark, their quantum networks disrupted by Earth's bioquantum interference. It's not just their ships, Thompson realized. Every piece of human technology we've seen, everything we dismissed as primitive. It's all part of their warfare strategy. They're not fighting with just their ships. They're fighting with their entire civilization. He brought up Earth's star chart, showing their seemingly random expansion pattern through the galaxy. It wasn't random at all. Each human colony, each trade route, each diplomatic mission had been carefully positioned. "They've been building a web," he whispered. "A vast network of bioquantum nodes disguised as primitive human settlements. The entire time we thought they were just struggling to keep up with modern technology. They were positioning pieces on a board," Dr. Reed finished. "Like that game they play. Chess." Thompson's skin turned a deep blue of concern. The first strike wasn't just a battle. It was Earth revealing their true nature. And if this is what they've been hiding all along. He looked at the continuing reports of Dominion systems going dark. Then the real war hasn't even started yet. The Galactic Council's emergency chamber shook as another wave of refugees arrived. Thompson watched as Dominion officials, once proud and arrogant, stumbled in, their faces pale with fear. On the main display, a map showed the status of the conflict. Nearly 1/3 of Dominion space had gone dark. "They're launching their counterattack," Dr. Reed announced, her crystalline form vibrating with tension. "The Dominion is deploying their dreadnought fleet." Thompson's skin rippled. The dreadnought fleet was the Dominion's ultimate weapon. 50 massive warships, each capable of destroying a solar system. They had never been defeated. "Display the fleet," he ordered. The hologram showed the massive ships emerging from hyperspace. Each dreadnought was the size of a small moon, their hulls crackling with enough energy to power a civilization. They had brought their entire fleet. "Dominion Command is transmitting," an operator announced. The Supreme Commander of the Dominion appeared on screen. "Enough games. These human tricks end now. Our dreadnoughts will demonstrate true power." Ambassador Miller's response was typically calm. "Understood." Activating appropriate countermeasures. Thompson noticed something odd. "Where are Earth's ships? They should be defending their colonies." The answer came moments later. Throughout Dominion-controlled space, every human settlement, previously thought to be primitive colonies, began to change. Buildings shifted, streets rearranged, and entire cities transformed. "By the stars," Dr. Reed whispered. "The colonies themselves are weapons." Each human settlement was revealing its true nature, a massive bioquantum node disguised as a normal colony. They weren't cities, they were components of the largest weapon system ever created. The dreadnoughts opened fire, their energy weapons lighting up space like artificial suns. But instead of destroying the colonies, something incredible happened. "The energy," Thompson gasped. "Look at the energy patterns." Every shot fired by the dreadnoughts was being caught in a vast web of quantum fields emanating from the colonies. The supposedly primitive human buildings were acting as massive energy collectors, linked together in a network that spanned dozens of light years. "Of course," Dr. Reed said. "Every human colony, every outpost, every trading station. They weren't expanding randomly. They were building a galaxy-wide energy collection system." The Dominion commander's voice cracked with disbelief. "Impossible. Fire everything. Destroy them." The dreadnoughts unleashed their full power. Space itself seemed to warp under the assault. But the more energy they fired, the stronger the human network became. Thompson watched in awe as the collected energy began to pulse through the network of colonies. They're not just defending. They're redistributing the energy. Every shot makes their entire network stronger. Miller's voice came through again. "Final warning to the Dominion fleet. Your weapons cannot harm us. They only make us stronger. Withdraw now." "Never," the Dominion commander shouted. "All ships, overload your cores. We'll destroy them even if we have to sacrifice the fleet." Miller sighed. "As you wish." Activating shutdown protocol. What happened next defied explanation. The entire web of human colonies pulsed once, releasing a quantum wave that rippled through space. Every dreadnought simply stopped. Their lights went dark, their weapons fell silent, and their mighty engines died. 50 of the most powerful ships ever built hung in space like dead metal sculptures. How? The Dominion commander whispered. This is impossible. Not impossible, Miller replied. Just carefully planned. For 50 years, we've been absorbing your technology, understanding it, and preparing our response. Every time you scanned our primitive colonies, you were actually helping us map your quantum frequencies. Thompson understood finally. The pocket watch, the metal ships, the primitive colonies. It was all a trap, Dr. Reed finished. The most elaborate trap in military history. Miller's final transmission echoed through the chamber. To the Dominion Empire, your fleet's life support systems will remain functional. But your weapons, your shields, your precious superior technology, it's all connected to our network now. We don't want your empire. We don't want your worlds. We just want to make sure you never threaten another species again. As the Dominion commander slumped in defeat, Thompson looked at the display showing Earth's network of colonies, now pulsing with captured energy. He wondered what other surprises humanity had been hiding all these years. Thompson found Ambassador Miller in the Council's observation deck, staring out at the stars. The defeat of the Dominion's dreadnought fleet had sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Now, 3 days later, Thompson finally had the courage to ask the questions that had been bothering him. You knew I would figure it out, Thompson said, moving to stand beside Miller. That's why you showed me the pocket watch. Miller smiled. We needed someone objective to understand, someone who could explain to the others that this wasn't about conquest. Then what was it about? Thompson's skin shifted to a questioning pale blue. You didn't just defeat the Dominion. You completely changed the balance of power in the galaxy. Miller pulled out the pocket watch again. Tell me, Ambassador Thompson, what do you know about Earth's first contact with alien life? It was the Dominion, Thompson replied. 70 years ago. They? Oh, his skin darkened with realization. Yes, Miller nodded. They found us when we were truly primitive. They studied us, mapped our quantum frequencies, and planned to harvest Earth's resources. We intercepted their communications by accident. The watch ticked quietly in Miller's hand. Instead of panicking, Miller continued, we adapted. We took their scans and turned them into a template, a way to make our technology appear exactly as primitive as they expected. Every time they studied us, we learned more about them. Thompson's skin rippled with understanding. The bioquantum interface wasn't just for warfare. No, Miller agreed. It was for protection. We knew the Dominion would eventually try to conquer Earth. They'd done it to dozens of other worlds. So we decided to change the rules of the game. New images appeared on the observation deck's windows, classified footage from Earth's early days of space exploration. Everything was deliberate, Miller explained. Our clumsy first steps into space, our seemingly inefficient colonies, our outdated-looking ships, all designed to convince the Dominion that we weren't worth conquering yet. But the bioquantum technology, Thompson asked, how did you develop it in secret? Miller laughed softly. We didn't. We've had it for thousands of years. Every human civilization, every culture had people who could connect with each other in unexplainable ways. We just needed the right motivation to understand how it worked. The images showed Earth's true technological development, a perfect blend of biological and mechanical systems, hidden beneath a carefully crafted disguise of primitive technology. The Dominion's arrival gave us that motivation, Miller continued. We realized that traditional technology would never be enough to defend Earth, so we looked inward instead. Every human has quantum potential in their brain. We just learned to enhance it, to connect it with machines. Thompson stared at the pocket watch. And this? A reminder, Miller said, that sometimes the most powerful technology doesn't look like technology at all. The watch keeps perfect time not because of its gears, but because of the quantum-enhanced crystal we hide inside every one we make. New alerts flashed across the windows. The Dominion was surrendering unconditionally. Their empire, built on technological superiority, had been undone by the very primitives they had planned to conquer. "We don't want their worlds," Miller said quietly. "We don't want an empire. We just want to make sure that no advanced civilization ever again decides they have the right to destroy developing worlds." Thompson finally understood. "You're not conquerors. You're guardians." "Yes," Miller smiled. "Earth's colonies aren't just defensive networks. They're protective shields for younger civilizations. Every primitive world in former Dominion space is now under our protection, free to develop without fear of conquest." The pocket watch ticked on, its simple mechanical sound masking the quantum symphony playing within its gears. "So," Thompson said, "when you asked if I was out of my mind." "We were never out of our minds," Miller finished. "We were just playing a very, very long game. And now, Ambassador Thompson, would you help us explain to the galaxy why we did it?" Thompson looked at the images of newly freed worlds, his skin glowing with determination. The real work was just beginning. 1 month after the Dominion's surrender, the Galactic Council gathered for a historic session. Thompson stood at the podium, his blue skin glowing with confidence as he prepared to address representatives from over 500 worlds. "Fellow delegates," he began, "I stand before you to present my final report on the Earth-Dominion conflict and its implications for our galaxy." The chamber's displays showed scenes from the past month. Dominion warships being transformed into humanitarian vessels, Earth's colonies revealing themselves as protection nodes for developing worlds, and former Dominion slave species taking their first steps as free civilizations. "We were all wrong about humanity," Thompson continued. "We saw their metal ships and thought them primitive. We saw their simple colonies and thought them weak. We saw their outdated technology and thought them backward. We were seeing exactly what they wanted us to see." He activated a new hologram, showing Earth's true technological achievement. The vast network of bioquantum protective fields now spanning a quarter of the galaxy. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology. It was their perspective. While we raced to build bigger weapons, they asked different questions. While we sought to control quantum energy, they learned to work with it. While we built empires reaching up, they built protections reaching out. Dr. Reed's crystalline form sparkled as she added her own findings. Their bioquantum interface isn't just a weapon system. It's a fundamental shift in how we understand technology. They didn't just advance, they took a completely different path. The displays showed new images, human children playing with quantum-enhanced toys, ordinary citizens unconsciously connected to vast networks of shared knowledge, and entire cities that could think and adapt as living organisms. But most importantly, Thompson said, they showed us what true power looks like. The Dominion built weapons that could destroy worlds. Humanity built systems that could protect them. Ambassador Miller stood up from his seat. "With the Council's permission, Earth would like to make an announcement." The Council leader nodded, and Miller stepped forward. "Earth is establishing what we call the Guardian Initiative," Miller declared. "Any developing civilization that wishes protection from interference will receive it. We will deploy our bioquantum networks to ensure they can evolve without fear of conquest or exploitation." Murmurs filled the chamber. This was unprecedented. Furthermore, Miller continued, "We offer to share our bioquantum technology with any civilization that pledges to use it for protection rather than conquest. The age of empires is over. The age of guardianship begins." Thompson watched as understanding dawned across the chamber. Humanity hadn't just defeated the Dominion. They had changed the very nature of galactic civilization. "We also have a gift," Miller smiled, pulling out his pocket watch one last time. "Every delegate here will receive one of these. Inside each watch is a quantum core, connected to Earth's network. If any civilization ever again threatens the weak, if any empire tries to rise through conquest, these will let you call for help." The chamber erupted in discussion. Thompson's skin rippled with emotion as he watched ancient enemies begin to talk about cooperation, about protection, about a new way forward. One final thing, Miller added. To those who asked if we were out of our minds, perhaps we were. Perhaps it takes a little madness to hide your true nature for 70 years. Perhaps it takes a little insanity to build a defensive network spanning light years while pretending to be primitive. Perhaps it takes a touch of lunacy to believe that protection is stronger than conquest. He opened the pocket watch, revealing the quantum core glowing within. But if protecting the weak, defending the developing, and ensuring freedom for all species is madness, then yes, humanity is proudly, defiantly out of its mind. Thompson looked out at the chamber, at hundreds of species beginning to understand humanity's true nature. They weren't conquerors pretending to be weak. They were guardians pretending to be primitive. And in that difference lay the hope for a new galaxy. The pocket watch ticked on, its simple mechanical sound now a reminder that sometimes the greatest powers hide in the humblest packages, and that humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy wasn't their technology. It was their perspective. The age of empires was over. The age of guardians had begun.